The rise of Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's breakout star, has captivated the basketball world, contributing to unprecedented WNBA viewership, attendance, and merchandise sales during the 2024 season. Known for her electrifying play and signature ponytail, Clark's influence on the sport, often called the Caitlin Clark effect, has transformed women's basketball. However, the season ended abruptly for Clark, as her team was eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by the Connecticut Sun. Yet, this season was not just about the thrilling action on the court. The spotlight also turned toward a much deeper issue: the persistent racial stereotypes in media coverage, which were brought to the forefront during a controversial post-game moment involving Clark and Connecticut Sun guard DiJonai Carrington. In a play during the series, Carrington, who is black, inadvertently hit Clark, who is white, in the eye while attempting to block a shot. The incident set off a media storm when Christine Brennan, a seasoned USA Today sports columnist, questioned Carrington the following day, implying the contact may have been intentional. Brennan's questioning, particularly her persistence in asking whether Carrington and a teammate laughed about the incident, ignited backlash. The players' union, the league, and a wide array of commentators on social media reacted swiftly, accusing Brennan of perpetuating a racial stereotype that has long plagued black athletes. The idea that they are aggressive and undisciplined. Brennan's failure to recognize the racial undertones of her questions was seen by many as an unfortunate example of the media's blind spots when it comes to race. As a veteran sportswriter and journalism scholar with extensive experience covering the WNBA, I have observed this dynamic for years. On the surface, Brennan's questions might seem like standard practice in sports journalism. After all, it's not uncommon to ask a baseball pitcher whether he deliberately hit a batter. But this was not an isolated inquiry. It took place within the context of a league whose fanbase and media coverage are increasingly divided along racial lines, exacerbated by the emergence of a young, white star like Clark in a league that is predominantly black and LGBTQ+. The WNBA's evolving demographics since its inception in 1997, the WNBA has been shaped by its diverse player base. Today, over 80% of its players are women of color, and a significant portion identify as LGBTQ+. The league's identity has evolved into one that celebrates this diversity, especially in the wake of social movements and political activism. During the 2020 season, for example, players used their platform to protest racial injustice, challenge political figures, and push for broader societal change. However, with Clark's rise to stardom, the WNBA has seen a shift. As the Wall Street Journal reported in July, the fanbase has become whiter, as college women's basketball viewers have followed Clark into the professional ranks. This influx of new fans and money, thanks to media rights deals and sponsorships, has also brought new challenges. Racist comments directed at players, both from the stands and on social media, have surged. In one notable post-game press conference, Connecticut Sun star Alyssa Thomas reflected on the rise in hostility, stating she had never before experienced the level of racial slurs and harassment she faced from Indiana Fever fans. The role of the media in shaping perceptions. This growing tension recalls earlier instances in American sports history, particularly the rivalry between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson in the 1980s. Back then, media coverage often cast Bird and Johnson as avatars of their races: Bird, the hardworking, intelligent white player from the Midwest, and Johnson, the flashy, athletic black player from urban Los Angeles. Such coverage, while profitable for the NBA, was steeped in racial stereotypes, reinforcing divisions rather than celebrating the athlete's individual talents. In the case of Clark and Carrington, Brennan's questioning risked falling into similar traps. Her focus on whether Carrington's contact with Clark was intentional leaned into the stereotype of the aggressive black athlete. This narrative, while subtle, can have powerful effects, as it reinforces outdated and harmful perceptions that fail to acknowledge the complexities of race in sports today. Addressing the blind spots, Brennan, who has been a champion for women's sports and a mentor to young female journalists, defended her line of questioning in a podcast interview, insisting that her intent was to provide athletes with an opportunity to address issues publicly. While Brennan's defense is understandable, it overlooks the deeper issue. Her persistence in framing Carrington's actions in a particular light may not have been racially motivated, but it contributed to a larger pattern of racialized media narratives. What we see in this incident is not just a singular moment of media bias, but a reflection of the broader societal challenges faced by black athletes. While the WNBA has made significant strides in promoting diversity and inclusion, the media that covers the league, and the fans who follow it, must also evolve in how they view and report on the game. Ultimately, what is at stake here is more than just a single interaction between a journalist and an athlete. It's about how racial stereotypes continue to permeate sports media, subtly shaping public perceptions of black athletes as overly aggressive or undisciplined, while their white counterparts are often framed as hardworking and strategic. These narratives need to be challenged if we are to move toward a more equitable and just portrayal of athletes, regardless of race. In the end, addressing these blind spots is not just about improving journalism, it's about recognizing and dismantling the ways in which racism continues to manifest in every corner of society, including in the sports world. Only by acknowledging these issues can we hope to create a more inclusive and fair environment for all athletes.